Spotlight on Newcastle County, which features all things Newcastle County, Delaware. I'm your host, Melody Kitchen. You never know who we're going to talk to or where we're going to visit. For today's show, I'm pleased to welcome some members of Newcastle County's Department of Public Safety. Their Emergency Medical Services Chief Larry Tan, Lieutenant Christopher Johnson, Paramedic Candidate Matthew Patterson, and Paramedic Candidate Jamelia Johnson, both of the paramedic class of 2014 to 2015. Thank you for being here today, everyone.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Now, to begin with, what is a Newcastle County EMS, and what does that actually stand for?
Well, EMS actually stands for Emergency Medical Services, and the name of the agency, as a part of the county government's Department of Public Safety, is Newcastle County Emergency Medical Services. We're also known as the Newcastle County Paramedics.
Okay. And what is an actual paramedic in general? What is a paramedic?
Well, a paramedic is an advanced life support provider. It's typically the highest trained medical provider on the scene of an emergency. They differ from other people that would be staffing an ambulance that are emergency medical technicians, in that we like to say that the paramedics bring the capabilities of a hospital emergency room right to a scene.
Okay. And when someone actually calls 911 to report an emergency, what exactly happens? How do the EMSs respond?
Well, the EMS system is set up so that paramedics are typically sent only to the most serious or acute medical emergencies.
Okay.
So at the time you dial 911, the emergency communication center will go through a standard protocol and ask questions. And based on the answers that the caller gives, we'll make a determination of whether a fire company ambulance needs to go or whether it's a serious enough situation where both the fire company ambulance and a Newcastle County paramedic goes. The paramedics will respond with the local ambulance service, and if the patient requires advanced life support, which would be things like heart monitoring, intravenous drug therapy, things of that nature, paramedics will actually jump on board and will accompany the patient to the hospital.
So all of you don't respond to every emergency. I think that that's a point of confusion, because I don't think a lot of people know that paramedics are not responding to every single emergency where they get called in. How many paramedics does Newcastle County have?
The Emergency Medical Services Division actually has 124 full-time authorized positions, of which about 102 are field paramedics. There's some, and that includes supervisory as well as administrative staff. We're all required to be certified paramedics within the state of Delaware.
Okay. And we're actually here to talk about the recruitment and the academy that you attended. How are paramedics trained?
Let's go ahead and let Lieutenant Johnson go.
Sure.
Paramedics in general are trained through an accredited paramedic program. There are several programs throughout the country. The one that we actually use is in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. The paramedic program is comprised of a didactic portion. There's a lab portion where the students actually perform hands-on skills in a lab setting, in addition to a clinical setting, such as nurses, physicians, those types of things. They go into a hospital setting and they perform invasive procedures, other procedures that they would perform in a field setting, but it's less intense, and it's in a more controlled setting for them. And then the final portion of the program is the field internship program, where they take all those skills that they've learned in the classroom setting, in the lab, and in clinical, and they put it to use in a field setting on an actual ambulance, on actual calls with actual patients with a field training officer. Once they're certified as paramedics, and again, the program we use currently is the Good Fellowship program in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and once they complete that program, they then come to Delaware, where we train them to secure their Delaware paramedic certification.
Sure. And isn't it correct that both of you are now here and you're working to get your certification while you're actually in practice?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
And where are you actually working right now?
Right now I'm stationed down at Medic 5 in Middletown, Delaware.
And where are you working?
At Medic 4, Branding 100 Fire Company.
Okay, so you guys are really all over the place. You can't say that anywhere is centralized.
Newcastle County, the Newcastle County paramedics are probably one of the few county services that actually delivers a county service across the incorporated areas. We have paramedic units that are based in the city of Wilmington, in the city of Newark, in Newport, Newcastle. So we truly cross lines, but we are also a county-wide service. We have 9 paramedic units that are operating throughout Newcastle County during the daytime.
To become an EMS, do you have to have any previous training or experience?
You do not. Our program is actually one of the few in the country that we actually reach out to anyone that's interested in becoming a paramedic to basically go through a paramedic academy where we will train you, we will send you to school, and we will help you attain your paramedic certification. The only requirements that we currently have are that you have to have 3 years of driving experience and you have to have your high school diploma or GED.
Okay. And did either of you have previous experience before you came in to apply for this?
Prior to this program, I was in college. I had just received my degree in biochemistry,
Oh,
and
wow.
from there I transitioned to this program.
And did you have any previous experience?
I had no medical experience at all. I actually applied for the program during the first application process while I was in Afghanistan serving with the Delaware National Guard.
Oh, wow.
So,
Do you both feel that you were properly, equipped to go out into the field?
Yes, ma'am.
without a doubt.
Okay, so then that just goes to show you the program is effective. Now, I know that, going back to, the recruitment class and the requirements, I know that you had, where was it, Tower Hill School and Track is where you do your initial PT test, the physical training tests. And what actually, that's the first step, I believe, isn't it, before they even do anything else with the recruitments?
The first step for anyone interested in applying for the Paramedic Academy is to apply and to fill out an application. A lot of folks, it's very, they're nervous, and getting
Sure.
over that first step is very difficult. But to apply, fill out the application and turn it in. And then we schedule them for their physical fitness test. The actual application process is pretty intense. It's very long, and there's a lot of parts to it. But again, we're looking for those individuals that not only are physically but mentally ready to accept the challenge of the Paramedic Academy.
Sure. Now, after the physical exams, there are academic exams. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about what pertains to that?
Sure. Well, like you said, the first part is the physical fitness testing, which is done at Tower Hill School. We have a great partnership with them, and we get to use their outdoor and indoor facilities. It's just comprised of push-ups and sit-ups, and they have to run a mile in a certain amount of time.
Sure.
The second portion of the process is a written exam, and it's basically an acuplacer exam that most colleges use, and it tests things like comprehension, sentence structure, writing, and arithmetic. And there's reasons why we look at those things. You're going to have to produce patient care charts. You're going to have to write, patient care reports that will then be part of a patient's permanent record and will be with them throughout their stay in a hospital. So we want to make sure that our paramedics have the ability to do that and that they're producing very professional documents. The second is comprehension. We have an extensive set of protocols and standing orders, and they have to be able to read those and comprehend those and then put them into practice. And then the third is arithmetic that we test. And if you can think of, in a hospital setting, you may have to do drug calculations, and you can probably do them over a certain period of time. In our setting, they have to be done within seconds.
Right.
So we before they go any further in the process, we want to make sure that they're able to do that. After the written, there's an oral board interview, which they sit in front of a panel of paramedics and answer questions. We do an extensive background. There's a background packet that they'll have to complete. And then if they're fortunate enough to get a tentative offer, we do a medical examination and a psychological examination as well.
That's good to hear. I guess.
We put a lot of faith and trust in the personnel that are functioning as paramedics.
Sure.
Certainly, all of this is geared towards being successful as a certified paramedic, but also from the standpoint of are they qualified yet to perform the job duties and responsibilities. Our field training officers look at it from the perspective of, would I want this individual working on me or a member of my family? And to the citizens and visitors of Newcastle County, there should be some level of comfort in knowing that each paramedic that's released to full duties, we would be comfortable with them working on either us or our family members as well.
Right, and that's something we were actually talking about before the show, is that when the recruits go out into the field for their field certification, it doesn't happen right away.
No.
And like you said, it can take, you know, as long as it takes to be absolutely certain that that individual is ready to go out and that they feel prepared, and that the people that they're treating are going to get the best care possible. So, you know, that's very comforting, I'm sure, for a lot of people to hear. And now, speaking specifically about the job itself, you know, just for people that may be interested in that, you know, what would you say, you know, is the salary worth it for the job that you're doing? Are the benefits good that come along with that job?
Coming out of the military, you know, we get a very good salary for what we do, and then being able to transition into a civilian side employment with the county, it was seamless for me. My family and myself were very stable now with the county's pay and with the benefits, especially being able to be paid through school. So you're not just learning the job, but they're paying you to learn the job. So learning is your job for the first year. That's your entire goal every day. So the benefits that we get, especially right off the bat, are just beyond belief.
Oh, wow.
See, there's that again, that's a part of the unique program, that a lot of people who become paramedics in the United States are actually working full-time to support themselves and their families, and then going to night school, trying to fit in their paramedic education and their clinical hours on their days off and things like that. In this circumstance, we're actually employing people to attend the program. They're earning salary and county benefits while they go through the program, so they can focus on being successful and learning the job at hand. But that is rather unique. And in return for that, I mean, this is a tremendous taxpayer investment in each individual that we enroll in the program. There's a 5-year service obligation. The county taxpayers are investing in the individual, and in return, there's at least 5 years of service for that investment.
Okay, and I know that you were going to school before you switched over, so that probably made it more seamless for you as well, didn't it?
It made it very seamless to go from going to school to joining this program, going
Yeah.
to school again. So it was very seamless for me.
Now, ultimately, in the end, I have to ask, you know, everyone sitting at the table, was there any, you know, what would you say you liked the most about being a paramedic, or what was it that sort of drew you to being a paramedic?
Yeah.
For me, what I enjoyed the most, or what drew me the most, was the fact that I get to make a difference. Every day I'm treating someone or their family, and I get to make a difference in how that treatment is done. I mean, I go to work every day, I either have a medical call or a trauma call, but with each call, no matter the difficulty or the intensity, I'm still making a difference in someone's life with what I do.
Absolutely.
It was kind of twofold for me. I like civil service. I kind of geared my whole life towards that, and this is a very unique opportunity to get out and really perform a very needed and dire function for a lot of people that trust you at their absolute worst moment in their life to do everything you can for them. And to be able to step in and be that person for them is just so unique and so enjoyable for me. And then the challenge. There's always something new out there. The field of medicine is ever changing, it's ever evolving. So there's always a way to keep yourself sharp and a way to kind of keep yourself ahead of the curve a little bit on what you're doing and the new techniques and everything that you have to do to be successful and be good at your job, at your career.
Sure. I mean, I can't think of a career that, you know, you wouldn't want to at least be challenged.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you?
My actual first career choice was to go to PA school to become a physician's assistant.
Okay.
And then I had a choice to make, you know, right before I took on that venture. And I had a strong background in EMS at the time. And I really wanted to be happy going to work every day. And when you look at the EMS systems across the country, Newcastle County EMS is rated among in the top 10 in whatever, you know, survey that you look at for a number of different reasons. And that's something that I wanted to be a part of. So I decided to go back to paramedic school for 2 years, and here I am. And to practice medicine in a setting where it's just you, and you are in someone's home at their worst time. You're in someone's car in the middle of an interstate at the worst time of their lives. You're dealing with their families at the worst time of their lives. Sometimes it can be difficult, but you see a smile, or, you know, you just a simple thank you. Those things make it great, and they make you want to actually come to work every day, which, you know, I've only worked here 13 and a half years, and
Only
every
13 and a
single
half
day,
years.
every single day I enjoy coming to work.
And what about you, Chief Tan?
You know, it was an opportunity to do something beyond what I was doing before. I had some experience as a teenager working on a basic life support ambulance with a local fire company, and there were limitations to what you were able to do during an emergency, and decided to go after paramedic school. Actually left, went out of state, and happened to come back, and there was a position available. At the end of the day, you're a part of a respected profession. Certainly, the Newcastle County paramedics have both public as well as a professional reputation for excellence. And over the years, a few more than 13, it's been a great opportunity to see the profession grow, to see the partnerships with receiving hospitals develop in the patient's best interest. I mean, some of the things that paramedics do in the field now, when I first started, probably wasn't even considered. An example, back in the late 90s, we started doing 12-lead EKGs. We're able to actually do an EKG in the field that can diagnose whether somebody's having a heart attack. And based on the paramedic interpretation of that EKG, which in the past was only done in a hospital emergency room, the paramedics are activating resources in the hospital even before the patient arrives. And when somebody's got a blocked heart artery and they've got heart muscle that's dying, that time savings means you're salvaging heart muscle. Survival improves, but just based on a paramedic giving a radio report and saying, I need a heart alert, there's hospitals that are motivating and actually bringing people in after hours to staff catheter, cardiac cath labs and things like that. I mean, it's just a great example of the difference that each one of these individuals makes each and every day.
So, this isn't your first paramedic academy. Can you tell us how this came about?
We actually proposed this back in 2013 and actually went to County Executive Gordon, explained the fact that we were having a shortage of paramedics, needed to actually train people from the beginning, and had some extreme limitations with the training program that was available as far as the number of people that we potentially could enroll. So developed with Director Bryant and the County Executive a concept of doing a paramedic academy. That is taking people from an entry level without any prior training experience, starting them from ground zero and building them up in about a year to become trained and certified paramedics. The results of which have been extraordinary. In our first paramedic academy class, we were able to do outreach in a whole broad range of communities. We had probably one of the most diverse classes in the history of the Newcastle County paramedics.
Which is good, because I know that that's something that the county executive actually champions, is having diversity in the workforce. And I know that he really wanted to see, diversity in the paramedic class.
Absolutely. We were very fortunate. As a part of our academy recruitment back in 2013, we were able to excite interest throughout the community. And actually the county executive came out and joined us during the physical fitness testing of the applicants, and was very pleased with the level of diversity he saw and the interest in actually the paramedic program. But fast forward, based on the experience from the training program, that group of candidates successfully completed their national board examinations. They're out in the field right now going through the field certification process to become Delaware paramedics. Two of which have already achieved that and have been released to full duties. So we're continuing to see really good things, and based on that experience, both the Director of Public Safety as well as the County Executive approved moving forward and doing another academy class.
Well, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming in. And before we wrap up, was there anything that you would like to add before we end our interview today?
This is a limited time offer. We are accepting applications until October 1st of 2015. If you have an interest in becoming a Newcastle County paramedic, we would encourage you to go to our website at www.ncctve.org/EMS and learn more about the opportunity for the entry-level position and enrollment into paramedic training, or contact our recruitment coordinator to speak to them as well. We have information sessions that are already scheduled for August and September. There's no pre-registration required, but that's a great opportunity to learn about the position, to learn about the benefits of working with Newcastle County, as well as some of the tips for how to get through the selection process and what to expect if you're enrolled in the paramedic training program. So those are some great opportunities. We would encourage people to look into that.
Well, thank you all so much for coming in today. and I hope that we have some more recruits. And good luck and congratulations on your future certifications.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Spotlight on Newcastle County. I hope you enjoyed today's show with Newcastle County Paramedics. Please keep it tuned to NCCTV for news and information on Newcastle County, Delaware. For County Executive Tom Gordon, Executive Producer Jim McDonald, Director Tony Prado, and NCCTV crew members Josue Ortega, Steve Burg, and Lisa Lancaster, this is Melody Kitchen. Thank you for watching. Take care.